Do you ever feel like games are a way for you to escape? What are we escaping? So today I'm going to be talking, that's an interesting title for a video. Genius Gaben, huh? Those of you who are familiar with PC gaming, Gaben being Gabe Newell, one of the co-founders of Valve. Basically, this video is going to discuss the geniusness, which, by the way, I looked up is not a word. The geniusness, I'm going to use it anyways, the geniusness of Gaben. And this has to do in relation to the Steam market, as well as the Dota 2 release, the Dota 2 marketing strategy, campaign strategy, whatever you want to call it, to start getting some of the League of Legends market. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a bit about the market, the Steam market. We're going to talk about the Valve strategy. And then I'm going to do some house cleaning on personal. I'm going to do some personal notes on myself, the Crunch Army, and the future of where I'd like to go with my gaming community. So first of all, let's talk about Dota 2. Dota 2 is a game that I've really been getting into. I have like 60 hours in the last week. 60 hours! I've been playing this. That's more than a full-time job, and yet I've only done one video for it. Now, I'm not the best at Dota 2, but I do have the most fun playing it. It is extremely strategic. It requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of thought. That being said, we're not going to talk about... I'm just going to apologize. This is me apologizing for the gameplay. So just go ahead and Alt-Tab out of the gameplay if you're not a fan of tryhard gameplay, because this is not tryhard gameplay. This is just me having fun in Dota 2. So with that being said, let's talk about Dota 2. The internationals are coming up. If you're not familiar, it's an international tournament for Dota 2. The prize pool this year is $4 million. No big deal. Only $4 fucking million to win a goddamn Dota 2 tournament. So we're going to talk about that a bit, and let's start this whole discussion with the founders of the genre, Dota. Now I know I might be upsetting some League of Legends players out there, saying, "Hey Rhino, League of Legends started the genre. Dota 2's a copy." Well, young chap, I hate to break your sweet little ass and heart at the same time, but Dota is actually the originator. Now, Dota was a mod, which was a mod for Warcraft 3. I personally never played it. It wasn't an overnight success, but it did gain momentum over time, like some other games we may have known, like Counter-Strike, Team Fortress, etc., etc. And Dota gained a bunch of momentum. It gained so much momentum that a few companies got interested in releasing a game, a standalone version of that mod. The first company was S2, the creators of Heroes of Newerth, which, if you don't know what Heroes of Newerth is, they basically same thing as Dota, except they just renamed all the IP, and so you had all the same heroes as the original Dota, except it was essentially a ripped version and their own twist on it. Whatever. Around the same time League of Legends comes out, at the same time that Han came out, Heroes of Newerth, guess what? League of Legends just so happened to have this epic business model called free-to-play, and their competitors, Heroes of Newerth, had a model called $30 fee. So guess what happened to Heroes of Newerth? Basically went under. Unfortunately, bad timing on the release. League of Legends, Riot can be credited with revolutionizing the gaming industry completely with that business model. They showed that not only a free-to-play game was viable, but you could make an insane amount of money doing it, which they have been doing. Last month's active users on League of Legends was $32 million. You can thank the invention of microtransactions to League of Legends and Riot. So since then, Heroes of Newerth basically dead. League of Legends, the reigning champ of the genre. However, around the same time, Valve announced that they were coming out with Dota 2. Now, Dota 2, they didn't announce that they were coming out with it, they announced that they were in development of it. So Valve, being the geniuses that they are, although they were disadvantaged on the release, they had a great strategy. So let's talk about this strategy. So first of all, Valve, it comes into this completely disadvantaged. League of Legends has an established tournament regimen. They have all these tournaments. They have esports backing them. They have Twitch backing them. They have tons of competitors. They have the time. People have been playing League of Legends for a couple years now. And they've built a 32 million player base, League of Legends, okay? So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to build up. And that's a huge audience playing your game. But Valve has a strategy, and this, I don't know who to credit this to. I'm going to credit it to Gaben, because why the hell not, right? He seems to be the face of Valve. So Gaben, you're going to get credit for all this. I'm sure it was somebody in marketing, but so Valve comes up with this strategy. The first strategy is free beta, obviously, right? Standard. We're coming out with the free beta. Our competitors are free. We're free. Not only that, we're going to do everything is free. Well, what do you mean everything is free? I thought free-to-play was everything is free. Well, not necessarily. League of Legends has a model where there's a pool of heroes that you can play on any given week, and then the next week that pool changes. So maybe next week the pool of heroes that you're playing is not the same as it was last week, thus enticing players to want to buy heroes so that they're permanently unlocked. Valve didn't do that. They said, you know what, we're just going to unlock everything. We don't really care, because we want everybody to enjoy all of the heroes on whatever week they want to play, okay? And so that's what they did. Now, that they could have capitalized on that. They didn't do that. I agree with them on that. And it wasn't not only that, but everything is free in the game. All the heroes are free, essentially. So they also created an in-game spectator mode in their game, giving players the access to watch tournaments and buy tickets and spectate the actual live games via in-game spectator mode, giving full control to the users, allowing them to move the camera, follow heroes, pick which caster they want to listen to, if a caster at all. Huge innovation, never foreseen. Valve has the vision. So where they have the vision, they create this epic game. You pay to watch tournaments. And so now how are they going to make their money? There's no initial cost on the release. Well, Valve is extremely genius, or Gaben's extremely genius, and they say, let's capitalize everything. Let's go to Marxist thought about capitalism, and let's be those capitalist dogs, and we'll capitalize on everything else in the game aside from the mechanics. So you can't buy, you can't buy heroes, you can't buy an advantage over any other player, but it doesn't mean that you can't buy loading screens, you can't buy new animations, new sprite effects, new hats, of course hats, Team Fortress 2, new audio announcers, and even a fucking new UI if you want to. Not only that, but they give the player the option to buy for whatever hero they want, thus creating the micro transaction. So what the hell is the micro transaction? I know what a microtransaction is. What is a micro transaction? I'll get to that in a minute, but essentially it's making items, let's say a microtransaction is like 50 cents. Well, micro transaction will be like 1 cent or 2 pennies. And that's exactly what they did with Dota 2. Absolutely genius. And so we'll go ahead and talk about that. The micro transaction. It's essentially an item created that you can sell on the Steam market between other players that already had a value to it, but Valve's going to take a percentage of all sales. So let's just say I buy an item on the market from Valve, directly from Valve's market, for $1. So now this item that I paid $1 to Valve for, Valve has a $1 profit on that item, or whatever their profit is. That's their $1. I sit on the item, then I sell it to another player a year from now for $1. Valve takes 15%, so the item cost $1.15, $1.15. So Valve just made $1.15 off that $1 item. They are multiplying their profit without multiplying their inventory. If you can understand where that's going to go, you can appreciate how insanely genius it is. Because if that item changes hands 3 or 4 times, that one item that has only a one specific base cost to it has just multiplied its value 3 or 4 times to Valve. Not only that, but they you don't have to buy the item from the store to sell it to other players. There's items that drop in the game, just like Team Fortress 2. You play it for a little bit, you randomly get free items. Now you can sell these items for a penny, 2 pennies. People have to actually pay real money to buy these. Now since Valve takes 5% or 15%, something extremely modest, of all sales on the market, they're able to charge a penny per transaction because you can't charge 15% of a penny. So let's say I sell this crappy item on the market for 1 cent. Well, Valve needs their 15%, so they take their penny, which is essentially giving them 50%, or not even, it's actually 100%. And that's of all sales. Of every single transaction that ever exists on the market for Dota 2, Valve gets their 15%. Absolutely genius. This is the invention of the micro transaction. Another thing we have never ever seen before. And I think this is something, if Riot is not taking note of this, if Riot is not, if it's not DEFCON 5 over at Riot and shit's hitting the fan and there's a red siren going off and people are scrambling on what the fuck they're gonna do, there damn well should be. If there's anyone from Riot listening to this, I really hope you guys are looking at ways to combat this business model, because I firmly believe in the future Dota is going to take a massive amount of your market if they haven't already, and I'm sure that I'm sure that they have, because they're not creating players in the market. It's already there. They're just taking it from you. So I hope League of Legends is prepared for what they're doing, and you have to appreciate Valve's strategy in this, because this is a brand new, another one of these strategies that we've never seen before. This is, so essentially what we're going to see now is developers releasing a completely, absolutely free game, 100% mechanics free. There's no item you can buy that gives you an advantage over other players, but you can buy items that tinker with the aesthetics, tinker with the audio effects, tinker with the user interface, tinker with these micro transaction of things that we never even before really thought about. And now Valve innovated this, and they took it one step further with the micro transaction. Now, so what's another part of the strategy? Valve has another part of the strategy. They released a documentary called Free to Play. More accessibility at its finest. Anybody in the industry understand, you have to appreciate the geniusness of this. Valve, with a lot of background in film, came up with this documentary that is essentially a 2-hour commercial for their free-to-play game called Free to Play. So you can watch this commercial via Steam, okay? Or you can watch this documentary. I keep saying commercial. To be fair, it's a pretty damn good documentary, but you got to remember that it's made by the people trying to sell you the game. So that's great. Where could they possibly publish that? Well, they publish it a few places. They publish it on YouTube, and of course, Steam, the #1 PC platform game publishing software in the world, which gives them access to everybody, pretty much, just about, I would think. We don't really have the numbers on how, I don't think we'll ever get the numbers on how many PC users have Steam, or PC gamers use Steam, but it's safe to assess that it's a pretty damn big number, and it's a pretty damn big percentage of PC gamers. If you're a PC gamer and you've never heard of Steam, I don't know what kind of PC you're on, and I don't think that calculator, that Texas Instruments calculator that you're playing video games on, counts as a PC. It's safe to say that Valve has a huge reach. So although they came into the market and they were a little bit disadvantaged to League of Legends by having 32 million, well, that's not really a little bit disadvantaged. It is a huge disadvantage. They still have that trump card where we have Steam, so we can publish our free-to-play documentary on Steam. We can recommend our game Dota 2 on Steam, and it's absolutely a genius. You have to appreciate the geniusness of this business model. A lot of people can argue how it's bad and how it can do bad things. I, being the optimist, think that it's good, and I hope that other businesses follow this model. I hope that other developers follow this model, because it gives players the opportunity to not pay for a video game. People keep saying, oh, pay to win, and you have to, the microtransaction is bad because it plays on the psychology of children, and how people who have no self-control and compulsive buy will just spend thousands of dollars into the same game. However, there's also a large percentage of people who have control and who have no interest in paying for free-to-play games and will play the shit out of them and get all the items they want absolutely free, never pay a penny, and walk away from it. If that's your prerogative, so be it. My mentality is, and this is, I got this from a friend of mine. He basically said, you look at a movie, you go to a movie, you spend $10 on a movie, you're paying $5 an hour to be entertained for 2 hours. If you're lucky, 3 hours. If you invest a lot of time into a game you like, then why not spend at least 50 cents an hour, or at least $1 an hour, or at least $5? If you're going to spend it on a movie, why not spend it on a game? So that's my mentality when it comes to free-to-play games. If you like the game, support the developers too. That's support the industry that you're in. I stopped ripping games a long time ago. I know a lot of people still do. And that's part of the reason we have these free-to-play games, is because the developers are undermining all the leechers who are just stealing video games. They're saying, fine, you're going to leech our game? Fuck it. Here, take it. It's free. And so that's part of the reason it's the irony of capitalism. We are creating our own demise with this free-to-play model by giving the developers no other option other than to release free. So a lot can be said on either side. I'm not going to get deep into the free-to-play model. That's not the point of the discussion. The point of the discussion was the geniusness of Gaben and the geniusness of the Steam market, Dota 2 items, and even back to the strategy. How can Valve afford to pay for a $4 million tournament? Well, they didn't. They actually just created an item called a compendium. Compendium is essentially a sticker book / schedule / I guess it'd be a ticket. It's hard to explain what it is, but it's an in-game item you buy. 25% of all the sales for it go towards the international tournament prize pool, thus crowdfunding the international. So, and what's really interesting about this compendium thing is it came out and the prize pool was $1.6 million. I played like 2 or 3 games of Dota, went to bed, woke up the next day, and it was up to like 2.5 million. In the past couple days, it's risen to $4 million because of the sales of this, the 25% that is added to the prize pool because of this compendium, because of this item. So that's another ingenious innovation by Valve, never before seen. And how Riot has to be going crazy about this. How are they going to compete with a $4 million prize pool? I don't know the highest amount a League of Legends tournament makes. I think it was the only number I could find said 50,000. That can't be right. Surely those League of Legends guys are getting more than $50,000 per tournament from the creators of the game. I hope so. If not, you're in some serious trouble, Riot, because guess what? All of your competitors, all your sponsors, all your managers, all your team owners, if I owned a team, let's just say I owned a team right now, and my team, if I'm lucky, nets $200,000 a year playing League of Legends, and I hear that there's a $4 million tournament in the same genre of game. Sure, the playstyle is a little bit different. Dota 2 is a different playstyle. It's still the same game. It's still the same premise. It's still the same idea. It's like comparing 2 different shooters. It's still in the same genre. But if I hear there's a $4 million tournament on the other side of the river, don't you think I'm going to take my team and say, hey, team, you think we can play this game? You think we can switch over to this? Competitors are going to go where the money goes. It's the facts of life, okay? They're adults. They need to make money. They're not playing video games to win cupcakes, okay? They're going to go where the money is. And so when they go where the money is, guess where everybody else goes? All the players are going to go with their competitors. And Valve, this goes back to I can't get off Valve's dick. Gaben, I can't get off your dick. It's absolutely genius once again, because the way I see it is Dota 2 is a spiritual successor to Dota. Dota 2 should have been released first and given a fair shot in the market. It wasn't, which was fine. It just gives them kind of the underdog feel. So now I feel like since Dota is such an underdog, how could they ever possibly compete with League of Legends? Add all of the factors I just talked about in, and they're not only going to compete with it, I predict that they will absolutely steal the market. They will absolutely... the tournaments are going to be increased. Last year was 1.8 million. This year it's 4 million. If I saw a $25 million tournament for Dota 2 before in the next 3 years, I would not be surprised. That's where this thing's headed. If you have that vision, you know, age and experience, hindsight, you can say, hey, all of these items on the Dota 2 market then are probably going to be worth tons of money in a couple years. Maybe, I don't know. I bought a bunch of crap because I'm an e-collector, I guess you could say. And if they are cool, if not, I got a bunch of cool Dota 2 items. But aside from all that, that's my speech about Gaben and the geniusness of Gaben, the geniusness of Valve, the just the epicness that of their strategy, their marketing strategy, their business model, and how people are going to copy this. People are going to mimic it. There's no doubt that the Steam market with the microtransactions will be mimicked in the future. It's absolutely, it innovates it innovates the business model. It's just absolutely genius. That's all I have to say about that. I look forward to the Dota 2 tournament. I bought my compendium. I'm trying to get my compendium points, which, you know, if you're a fan of Dota 2, you play, you know what compendium points are. If you have some compendium points, they're free. They drop all the time. Give them to me. I'm going to put my Steam ID in the chat so you can or in the description. I'll put a link in the description to my Steam ID. Add me and give me your compendium points, and I will try to raise my level up to something ridiculous and do a video on it. Let's see how high we can get the level up. I don't know what the max is, but it'd be funny if I got it something ridiculous. And so that's what I've been doing. I've also just been playing a lot. I'm trying to get better. I've been watching a lot of tournament games. I've been trying to understand. I've been reading. I've been watching tutorials. It's a lot to take in. It's like an extremely advanced version of chess once you get to the higher bracket games. I'm not there yet. Just watching them, it's just like, it's hard to comprehend everything that's going on, to be honest. And so that's cool. Other things, so let's do some housekeeping. Let's talk about Crunch Army and what happened in Crunch Army and what was Crunch Army. Crunch Army was a community I started. I recently cut it off. I knew it was going to get there. We always kind of knew it was going to get there. The YouTube just got too big, and there's just too many people, and it was just a wild house. It was a circus, and it was I didn't want to create a community that I didn't know everybody, and I didn't know everybody on a personal level. So I kind of renamed it. We kind of created a new group. It's just basically a club. It's an invite-only club. We opened everything back up to the public. We opened the TeamSpeak to the public. We opened applications to the public. I'll put a link in the description to that if you're interested. But we are extremely selective. We've been playing together almost 2 years together. Now, most of us, the founders, we also have a voting system. We vote people in. We have a trial period for new members. And it's essentially just a try-hard club. And it's not even really try-hard. You do have to have some level of skill and ability in Arma 2, Arma 3, and just the other games we play, the shooters and stuff. You know, I like to play with winners. You guys like to watch the try-hard stuff. But you guys also like to watch the non-try-hard stuff too, where we're just having fun and personality. So we've kind of opened it up to everybody. The name of it's Guerrilla Gaming, you know, like Guerrilla Warfare. GG is our clan tag. I'll put a link in the description for all the information on that. If you were ever in Crunch Army, if you ever played on our servers, you're awesome. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to know you and be friends with you. It just got wild, man. There's too many people. I can't imagine PewDiePie trying to run a gaming community or something like that. He's got 25 million subscribers or 27. It would be insane. I barely have 200,000 or a little over 200,000, and it was insane. So I can't imagine any more than that. I think where we're at now is great. I like the application. I like the eliteness that we've created. And I like keeping it accessible. You know, if you can fill out an application, you're welcome to apply. Doesn't mean you're going to get in. Doesn't mean that you're going to get past applicant status or even ever become member. But at least we're giving people a fair shot now, as opposed to randoms. Whoever came in TeamSpeak was immediately a part of the clan. So a little bit more reorganization. And I just organized it, you know, so it's more democratic. We vote people in, like I said. We vote servers in. We vote servers out. We vote people out. And so that's really cool. We started a YouTube channel too. I don't think it doesn't have any subscribers. We're going to start putting videos of the group up there. I'll probably box that channel eventually. So keep an eye out for that. And that's it. I've just been playing Dota 2. I've just been trying to have fun with my gaming and not be so goddamn try-hard at everything. Dota 2's a good way to do that, although I do get a little ragey and competitive because it's you know, it's in everyone's nature to be competitive, I think, and so that's good. But it's also fun to get the Russians raging on me, which seems to happen a lot. I like to play on the Russian servers because their accent's hilarious, and when they rage on me because I'm a noob, it's even more hilarious because it's fun to be on the other side of it and not be raging on them. So that's good. Other than that, there's really not much else going on in the community. I got some Rust keys, by the way. I'll put that in the forums, or I'll put a link to that too. What's his name? Garry over at Face Punch. Garry, I don't know if you listen to these podcast type deals. Thank you for those. He gave us 10 keys for the forums for the community there. And that's it. And then I'll put a link to all this stuff I talked about. Dota 2 is free to play. If you haven't played it, check it out. It's awesome. I'll put a link to that in the description to the game. I'll put a link into the free-to-play documentary, which is a good documentary. You got to check that out. It's free to watch. It's on YouTube. I'll find that, and I'll link that in the description. Also tracking the Dota 2 prize pool. It's pretty impressive that they're having a $4 million fucking prize pool for Dota 2. I'll put a link to that so you can track that in the description. And then I'll put a link to my Steam and the forum application to apply to GG. You will be emailed the TeamSpeak. You can come play some Arma 3 Escape or Arma 2 with us and just see if you fit. You know, it's about synergy. It's about cohesion, not necessarily our numbers. I don't take pride in the amount of people we have, but in the quality of the members that we have. So I'll put that. And if you have compendium points, add me on Steam. I want to see how high I can get my thing up. And maybe I got something you can trade with me or something. I got a whole bunch of items from Dota 2 I'm willing to give people and trade and offer. Whatever you guys want to trade. If I have something you want, not you got something I want, then let's do a circle jerk, buddy. That's all I got for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Look at this epic fucking gameplay by rhinoCRUNCH. And expect to see more of this on my channel. You guys know I do a lot of stuff all over the place, and I'm probably going to be doing a lot of stuff all over the place for a long time because that's just who I am and what videos I like to do, because I like to play it all, boy. And I like to play games that I don't normally play, and this is a game I don't normally play, and I fucking love it. Thanks for watching. As always, wash your balls. I mean, I love you all. Wash your balls. Whoa. Talk about a Freudian slip there, buddy. As always, wash your balls.